Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for my live event. We are now live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And I have a special guest. I've known her for about 25 years. She's going to interview me tonight because I am the author of a new book, my seventh book called The Micromoves Interview. Well, the topic is called The Micromove Interviews. My book is called Suck 10 Micromoves to Elevate You from Suck to Significance. And I will explain it in detail in just a little bit. If at any time, folks, if you have any questions, feel free to put your question in the comment section, and I would love to answer it live here and now so we can all learn from it. But again, thank you for joining me. We have 105 people that signed up. Probably about 10-15% will join me live, and the others will catch it on a recording. If you feel that this episode is purposeful not only for you and others, please send this episode to them on the platform that you see it on. Let me bring in my guest who's going to interview me. She is my daughter, Talia Perkins. She is 25 years old, doing great things with Charles Schwab as a financial specialist, something. And she's been a pleasure to raise and have as a child. So she's going to join us, and she's going to interview me because I cannot interview myself. So here she is. Let's bring her to the stage. Boom, here she is. Let's enlarge her. Thank you, my daughter, for joining me tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Good to see you again.
Yeah, thanks
Let's
for having me.
Thanks for doing this. Let's go ahead and start with the interview questions. As you know, we prepped earlier, and you have them in front of you. You just go ahead and just start asking away, and I will take and facilitate from here.
All right, sounds good. Look forward to learning more about the book. I loved it, by the way. I did finish reading it. So thank you so much. And your book title is bold, Suck. What inspired you to frame the journey from suck to significance in such a provocative way?
I wanted to have a bold title. It's great, as you know, for marketing, great for social media presence. And then the subtitle 10 Micromoves to Elevate You from Suck to Significance. And here's how I envision this. Suck is where we all start something. It could be a career, a relationship, doing our finances for the first time. It could be a job. It could be leadership, parenting, etc., etc. When we start that, we suck at it. We don't have that expertise, that knowledge, that experience just yet. But then as we get that experience and through time, we become successful. And then we get more experience. We go from suck to successful to significance, meaning we can help others. So that was the focus of my book, going from not knowing suck to significance, helping others. And I skipped over success. I didn't want to talk about that in the book. I wanted to talk about going from not knowing to helping others. So there is where the bold title came in. Again, to be catchy for marketing, to be edgy for social media, and then to help people understand we suck, we grow, and then we help others.
I love that title. Thank you. And can you briefly explain what a micro move is and why you believe these small actions are so powerful in shaping our lives?
A micro move is a small, intentional, positive change in your actions and or behaviors that you can now live by and interact with others by. So it's just a matter of shifting that mindset. And a lot of the audience out there, they're doing some micro moves, but they don't know the technical name for it. So a micro move can be something where you're just fed up with, say, a relationship or a job or career. You say, no more of this. I've tried everything to make it successful, but I'm going to turn the corner and do it differently over here. And you go down that different street. That's a micro move where you shift that thinking to a positive direction, doing something else differently to get a better result.
Thank you. And what are some common micro moves that people don't even realize are sabotaging their potential?
I have a list today. I can go on and on, but I just put it together a list. So I'll keep it to probably five or six.
Okay.
So let's start with the gym. exercise, health, that can only benefit you.
Right.
And just yesterday was my workout day
Mhm.
for weights. So as you know, I typically do cardio first, 30 minutes, and then weights. And then the next day I'll just do cardio, 30
Mhm.
minutes, and that's it. And then the next day after that, I'm back to cardio and weights. So you can see the on and off with the physical training piece. Well, yesterday I was tired, but it was my day to do cardio and physical fitness with the weights.
Mhm.
And so here's the micro move I put in my head. Two words: just start. Just
Mhm.
start.
Yeah.
And I've used this when writing my books, when doing other projects. Sometimes we just are tired. We just don't want to do it. It's easier to do something else.
Mhm.
And if you just start and give yourself about 15, 20 minutes, your mindset will reset and then you get into the flow of that thing that you're doing. And
Mhm.
sure enough, after 15 minutes, 20 minutes in the gym yesterday, I was back into, all right, the gym mode. Let's keep moving the body. Let's get through this workout and do it well.
Mhm.
And that's one. So when you get stuck in your mindset, you're a little bit tired, or you just don't want to do it, two words of micro move: just start, just start, just start. In
Yeah.
20, 15, 20 minutes, your mind will reset and go, okay, I'm going to get into the flow of this.
Mhm.
Another thing, this may sound corny, but it's really, really good. It helps people out. Make your bed first thing in the morning. Why? Because if you don't, you've now given your mindset a license to get back into the bed and go to sleep, or to get back into the bed and snuggle up and watch some more TV. Now you're taking away your hours in the day where you could be positive and productive. So a small
Mhm.
micro move of saying, okay, when I get out of bed, I'm going to make the beds and it's kind of locked up and I can't get back into it. And
Yeah.
it makes you more productive during your day. Some other things I want to share when I work with teachers in training is teachers tend to teach to the content, meaning they teach to the test because they
Mhm.
need those high scores at the end of the year for raises, for bonuses, to get a nice school label. And I teach them to not teach to the content, but teach to learning, which includes the content, instructional best practices, and most importantly, students are involved and they learn. So that's a shift, a mindset shift, which is a micro move. Another
Mhm.
one, I haven't shared this yet, but it's called Be on a Budget. And when I
Mhm.
say that, it's not financial. What I'm saying is be on a budget where you can't afford drama, you can't afford chaos, you can't
Mhm.
afford activity, you can't afford doubt, fear. Be on a budget in those areas where you can't afford it. And I'll be preaching more about that in my upcoming videos. Another micro move: mindset. In your mind is good and great. Also, in your mind is bad and ugly and can't. You get to choose which direction you want to go in. Do you want to go in a positive direction, good or great, or the negative, can't? Shifting
Mhm.
that mindset. And then if you do it over and over, it becomes a habit.
Right.
Another micro move, and I've seen this a lot lately driving to and from here in Arizona on the freeway. But there's a lot of rage out there on the freeway, and I don't get it. You know, you pass someone, they don't like you passing them, but they were the ones going slow. So when you pass them, now they want revenge, and that revenge could be nasty. They could pull a gun out. They could get in front of you and brake check, causing an accident. And if you don't have a dash cam, it could be your fault. So I always say the weak seek revenge, the intelligent ignore.
Mhm.
The weak people seek revenge, the intelligent people just ignore. Just if a car's behind you and they're really riding your bumper and they want to go, just move over. Drop your pride, drop your ego, let them go by. The day goes
Mhm.
on, there's no issues. Manager versus a leader, there's two different things there. Managers process, they worry about processes, they worry about maintaining things, and they worry about the daily complexities. They're reactive. Now you shift that to a micro move, now you become a leader where leaders are really focused on people, innovation, and being visionary.
Mhm.
So shifting that leadership piece in your mindset to go from process to now people. If you really have that strong relationship with people, the processes will fall in place. If you really
Mhm.
are innovative, things will happen and you don't have to maintain, you can excel. If you, again, shift to a visionary mindset with your leadership, you don't have to worry about daily complexities because you're already set up to tackle that when it happens because you're visionary. You're out there in advance knowing this may pop up and I have a system for it.
Mhm.
Some other things, micromove wise, a lot of people get caught up in the if culture. If this happens, if that happens, poor me. A lot of bad things can happen. If I drive over a bridge, the bridge can collapse. If I
Mhm.
fly in a plane, the plane can crash. But instead of getting caught up in the if, think of can culture. I can fly in a plane, and 99.9% of the time it's safe. I can drive over a bridge, and 99.9% of the time it's safe. So you look at all the positive things that can happen versus the negative things, and you just focus on the positive. So I can go on and on. Those are just some things that micro moves, some examples to give people to start to think about, and they can
Mhm.
utilize those things or they can glean from that and create their own.
I love that, especially because there are most likely things they're going to read that they already know, but I believe not everybody knows it first and foremost. And sometimes you have fallbacks. You know what you need to do, but maybe you get stuck in a rut doing the same thing. That is not healthy for you. It's not going to help your potential. And that's why I liked reading this book. It definitely held me accountable just in the time period when I'm at, especially with the gym and work. So, yeah, I love that. And that kind of just goes into my next question. You talk about how we often get in our own way. What's one subtle self sabotaging habit you've seen in even high performers that they might struggle with?
Even high performers struggle, believe it or not, but at a low percentage, but it's still in their mindset. They struggle with doubt.
Mm.
Where average people, as far as their thinking, struggle a lot with doubt, fear, can't. Even successful people, every once in a while, creeps in their mind. So I'll give you an example of me. Just recently, as you know, I did a graduation speech. Right after that, I did a promotion, eighth grade promotion speech. Now I'm well prepared. Got it down. I have a little 3x5 index card that I bring up there with me in case I get off track. If I lose that card, I can still do the speech. I'm that prepared. I'm that equipped. But right before they announce me, what starts creeping in my mind? Doubt, fear. And my micro move is I laugh at it. I'm like, come on, that's just the devil trying to work me a little bit, trying to get me all scared and unfocused because he doesn't want you to do well out there. He doesn't want you to send positive vibes and messages out to the people so they can do well. So whenever for people who are successful, high achievers, they still struggle with a little doubt and just laugh at it. I talked to a psychologist years ago, and I said, "What is one of the things you practice that you use with people?" She
Mhm.
hesitated, didn't want to really share with me, but eventually she did, and she says, "What I have people do when they're stuck in something or they're fearful is to think of a stop sign out in the street and pretend like they're driving a car towards it. What do when you approach the stop sign? You slow down, then you stop.
Mhm.
Translate that to the brain when you're fearful of something, you slow down and you stop thinking about it and you take a different route.
Mhm.
So even high achieving people can have a little bit of doubt, and it's how you handle it that pulls you out of it fast and keeps you moving.
I love that. Thank you. And how can someone begin to recognize the micro moves that are keeping them stuck? Is self awareness enough?
Self awareness, from what I have been observing year after year, a lot of people are struggling with that. They're not self aware that there's other people around. Simple little example is we've been in maybe a store, a restaurant, on a bus, wherever, at a game, and someone's on their cell phone talking super loud. It's like you're not self aware that you can talk a little softer or go around the corner and talk, and you don't have to interrupt other people's lives.
Mhm.
So being self aware is key. And I just want to make sure because I lost. Can you ask me that question again? I lost track of my thought there.
Yeah. How can someone begin to recognize the micro moves that are
Okay.
keeping them stuck? Is self awareness enough?
If I believe it is, because if you are going and doing things over and over and getting poor results, a relationship,
Mhm.
poor finances, it's hard to be in debt, but it's harder not to put together a budget. I probably said that
Mhm.
backwards. I think I did, but it's everything in life is a little challenging. It's a little hard, but being self-aware and saying, "Oh, when I do this, it's bad. When I do that, it's bad. When I do this other thing, it's bad," and then going, "Okay, I need to step back. Why is it bad? Okay, it's my decisions. It's my people that I'm working with. It's my quickness on something versus taking my time and processing it. It's my spending outside my budget versus staying with inside my budget. I don't need those sneakers right away. I can save and get them in 2 months, 3 months. So
Mhm.
it's being self-aware to say the things I'm doing are bad and pulling back and reflecting how can I do a micro move to make it better and go down a different street? Is it hanging around better people? Is it just being really writing out a budget and being firm with your budget? Is it not eating out all the time, but cooking in more, saving you money? What is it that I can do differently because of my
Mhm.
self awareness that will get me on a better track?
Right, and just that being said, as much as I do believe self-awareness is enough, like you mentioned in your book, these micro moves don't work unless you actually use them and try to improve your life. So, yeah, I love how you threw that into the book, like just a quick disclaimer. But just moving on to the next question, could you walk us through a specific example where one micro move significantly changed the course of someone's career or life?
An example, as you know, I recently work with school principals, coaching them, putting together an action plan, getting them back on track, getting their teams moving forward. And this one principal, and I experience this a lot with principals and teachers and other leaders, they have this fear of failure where they say, well, what if I accomplish all this in this action plan and we are high achieving? I feel that we're not going to stay at the mountaintop a long time. And so the example I used to help her relate to it's okay to strive and to be at the mountaintop is she's a big New York Giants fan. And I said, what do the New York Giants strive to do every year in and year out? And she
Mhm.
answers, they strive to win the Super Bowl every year. And I go, correct answer. Now, do they win the Super Bowl every year? No, they don't. There is the example. So you strive to win the Super Bowl. You may win it in year one, year five, year 10, year 17. You don't win it every year, but you're constantly striving to win the Super Bowl. And that's the key in life. Constantly striving to have a strong relationship if you're married or if you're boyfriend, girlfriend. You're constantly trying to do well with your finances. You're constantly trying to do well with being a great parent, projects, getting things done. Maybe you're a procrastinator. So it's okay to strive and not get there, but you're in a better place versus not even trying.
Mhm.
So that was one example of helping someone else to slowly get over that hump of being okay to succeed, but
Mhm.
maybe not getting there all the time. There's
Yeah.
some case studies out there, and it's called challenge goals. It's better to set challenge goals versus do my best goals. And
Mhm.
there's plenty of case studies out there that prove that. If you
Mhm.
set a challenge for yourself, because we all love challenges, we all love those. And if we just say, well, I'm going to just do my best, it's a kind of sort of yeah thing where when you set a challenge goal, it's like, okay, I got some mojo here and I want to get to that goal.
And how can leaders use the concept of micro moves to transform the team culture or organizational performance?
It's working with your team to co-create. Strong
Mhm.
leaders co-create. They don't dominate. Yeah, once in a while they need to make those tough decisions, but their whole part of their whole leadership should be co-creating with their teams because teammates aren't going to knock down fences they help build. They're just
Mhm.
not. If they help build it, they have buy-in, they have ownership, they have that commitment toward it because the voice and the actions came from them.
Mhm.
So just finish up that last question part again. I get off on these little definitions and I forget the question sometimes.
Yeah, it was talking about leaders and how using micro
Oh,
moves can transform the culture or the performance.
gotcha. And just
Mhm,
explaining to them, micromoves are that one intentional positive change in our actions and or behaviors to help us
mhm,
move to a better culture, a better team, a better relationships within our team, better results. And then saying to them, okay, we know we have a communication problem, or we have a communication problem, or we have this problem, whatever this is. How can we sit down today and really put together a micro move in our mindset? Because I teach teams, everyone's a leader in the team. Everyone has capacity to lead, and their little part is for the whole, and we move together. So
mhm,
everyone's a leader in some capacity on the team. Maybe I'm the top dog, but everyone's still a leader.
mhm,
And using a micro move can change our culture. And these are the things we're doing wrong. We identify them. We don't camp out there, and then we come up with those solutions, and we camp out where the solutions are, and we do those things. We put
mhm,
timelines to it, and we just conquer it. We monitor and meet every week for accountability. Where are we at with this? Okay, we made 20% progress. Okay, by next week we should be at 40. By the week after, 60, and so forth. So micro moves can help teams if they truly work together to co-create and they're committed to it.
And what role would you say that the micro moves play in relationships, whether it be personal or professional?
Sitting down personally, professionally, and you and I talked about this a little bit ago, and communicating, say it's personal with your partner, and just saying, okay, this that we're doing is not working. We're doing these four other great things, but this over here is not working and it's bothering me. So, how can we come up with a solution for it so we're both on the same page, we're both doing well in it, and that's not a bugaboo for us? So, professionally, the same thing. We look at our whole team and we, from time to time, periodically say, okay, we're doing here, over
Mhm.
here, we're doing these four things great, but over here, we're doing these two things not so great. What micro move can we do now to make that better? And sitting down and co creating.
Yeah. And hopefully that other person can feel supported when having some of those conversations and they feel like they have the tools necessary to move forward, and everybody
Exactly.
feels heard. So,
Audience
um,
members, if I can interrupt you real quick, audience members, if you have a question, please feel free to chime in at any time. We'd love to see your question or comment and answer it right here live. Okay.
all right. So you mentioned that some of this work is occasionally uncomfortable. What's one uncomfortable truth people need to hear if they want to move from suck to significance?
Uncomfortable is a part of the equation if you want to evolve, advance, improve. It just
Mhm,
is. It just
mhm,
is. You have to do things differently. Maybe you're not comfortable with that. Maybe the timing's not right. Maybe you have to do it quickly because you need results fast. So
yeah.
you have to become uncomfortable to be comfortable again. So shifting gears from being comfortable, it's not working, to uncomfortable, where we have to change to back to a new comfort state where you're getting better results. And
Mhm,
that's okay. And having that mindset, that micro move mindset, that one positive change to say, I'm going
mhm.
to be uncomfortable for a little bit, but it's going to get me to a better, a higher level comfort zone.
Gotta just do it. I
Just
feel that
do it.
this all the time when I'm working, and I'm just like, "No, just gotta do it," and I just try to shift it right outside of my mindset and then just go for it, and it's never that bad.
There
It's
you go.
always
Yeah, it's you think it's going to be so
good.
bad, and you do it. You're like, oh, that was pretty easy.
That's easy. I can do it again, and then you
There
get
you
the
go.
next challenge, and you just keep growing, so alright, have there been any micro moves in your own journey that were hard to make, but ultimately transformational?
Throughout my years, going up the so-called ladder in education, from teacher to vice principal to director to superintendent, there was a time where I was a superintendent where I said, you know what, I can do better. I can be better as a leader, and putting in that effort and putting in that, going from effort to action.
Yeah.
And then, 2, 3, 4 months later, literally people were coming up to me and they're saying, "Well, you're kicking butt. You're taking names. We see a different you." And it was just making a micro move of, I don't want to be a mediocre, average, ordinary leader. I'm here to help kids to be significant for kids,
Mm,
because I was in those positions, and especially as a superintendent, you really have a lot of authority, power, and influence. And so just changing that gear and saying, okay, we're going to do things bigger, better, faster, stronger, and doing it.
mm,
And
mm,
so that really helped me with the people, as
mm.
far as my teammates believing in me, because you want to follow the Zig Ziglar. He has a little concept out, um, called "They get to know you, like you, and then they trust you."
Mhm,
Know, like, trust. So that builds, that leadership credibility. That builds your
mm,
capacity. People are more willing to listen and go, okay, we have a strong leader in front of us. We trust him. And so
right.
I shifted some gears. I made that micro move, and people were telling me they see a different superintendent, a better one, and they
Mm,
were happy.
right. Thank you. And then some takeaways here. If someone listening today feels stuck, uninspired, or overwhelmed, what's one micro move that they can make right now to begin shifting their path?
I would say these words: bite size. Find one thing that you're stuck in. Maybe you're stuck in 3 or 4 things. Don't try to conquer 3 or 4 things at once. Bite size it, focus on that one thing, and prioritize it. If, say, you're
Yeah,
stuck on 4 things, what's the highest priority that you're stuck on? Grab
right.
that from the top of the pile and do a micro move. Again, a small, intentional, positive change in your actions and or behaviors to help you become better and help you interact better with others. And
Mm,
just put together a little action plan for yourself. Keep it simple
mhm,
but effective. It doesn't have to be this massive 16-page action plan. It could be a
yeah,
half a page. And just say, okay, I'm stuck here, and these are the things I'm going to do. Boom,
right.
boom, boom. 3, 4 things max, 2 to 4 things max. Put due dates on them and do
Yep.
it. Just
Mm,
start. Do it. It may be a little ugly at first. That's okay. But you
yeah.
got momentum and just keep going. It's going to clear up. It's going to be beautiful in the end.
I love that because I make lists of what I need to do. Sometimes I think it in my head and it gets overwhelming, and I'm like, let me just write this down. That way I can just get this organized, and then I look at my calendar and then I space it out, like based on
There you
priority.
go.
Not
There
always
you go.
perfect. It's a great, great step. All right. How can people stay consistent with micro moves when progress feels slow or invisible?
Know that sometimes progress isn't fast, it isn't rapid, and sometimes it's slow. And that's okay. Go slow to go fast. And what does
Mm,
that mean? So sometimes you have to listen, take time to learn, take notes, shadow people, observe others, do
yeah.
research while you're going slow, because when you're a leader or a parent or whatever that is, now you're going fast because you went slow first, you learned everything, and now you can go fast and you have that knowledge behind you, and you can
Mm,
help other people too. So
mm,
it's okay if progress is slow. Don't panic. Be patient. There's a lot of rewards for being patient, and then things will pick up. And then
mm,
when they do, you're going to be like, whoa, 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 slow down.
mm.
So be patient with that slow. You're going in the right direction. Think about it that way. You're not going backwards. So let me give you an example. So Allison Levine, she's a woman who's climbed the highest peaks on all 7 continents.
Wow.
And then when she climbed Mount Everest, the path to get up there, it takes you 2 months, by the way, to climb to the pinnacle of Mount Everest. 2 months. This is not like grab a backpack and some cookies and climb the mountain. No,
Yeah.
it takes you 2 months to get up there. And part of the reason is it's so high. I think it's
Mm,
around 20, just over 26,000 feet. And your path is to go up and down the mountain, up and down the mountain, up and down the mountain, up and down the mountain. And the psychology is, well, why am I keep going down? Well, that's part of the path to go up. You got to go
mhm,
down sometimes to go up. and
Mm,
you have to get your body used to the climate. That's why you have to keep going down. It's called
mm,
climatization. And so you got to go up and down, up and down, up and down. As you go up and down, you're going up, but you don't feel it because you keep going down. And
right.
then eventually you get to the pinnacle. There's a lot of components, variables that might stop you from getting to the pinnacle. Bad weather can kill you. So you may run out of oxygen because you have to have an oxygen tank. So there's a lot of factors, and a lot of people die on that mountain and stay up there frozen for years until someone retrieves them because of weather, because of all kinds of variables. So uh,
Mm,
be okay with all of that.
okay. I love that reference. And what's one area of society, workplace, education, relationships, where you think adopting micromoves could have the most profound effect?
I'm going to go back to what I'm seeing a lot is a lot of self awareness issues with people.
Mhm.
I think people need to be more self aware of others, be more
Mm,
respectful of others. I know when you're young, you're doing your first this, your first that. You're getting your first apartment like you just got.
mhm,
Um, you're living with someone for the first time who's not your mom, dad, or college roommate. You're trying to get now. Your move down the road is to get your first home. Then maybe you have a first kid. So it's all about you at the beginning of life, but then there comes a turning point where it's about you and others, and that should be somewhere in your late 20s, early 30s at the at that point.
yeah,
And I just feel people could utilize micromoves and being self-aware of other people, self-aware of their problems. Maybe it is a mental health issue, and that's nothing to be ashamed about. We all have a struggle with anxiety, depression, and this and that. Being self-aware of being healthy, being self-aware of making sure if you're in a relationship, there's two people in a relationship, not you. I struggle with that with my dates in the past. But I think micro moves for society can start with being self aware of others and your issues, your concerns, your goals, your needs.
absolutely. And if you could condense the core message of your book into one sentence for our listeners, what would it be?
It would be the definition of micro moves to do, which is that small, positive, intentional change in your actions and or behaviors. That really, it's the definition of a micro move, which encompasses the book. And it also, again, I said this earlier, moving from suck, not knowing, not having that knowledge experience, to significance, helping other people. I really wanted to stress that in this book, helping other people. Um, so those couple of things that I just mentioned are encompass the entire book.
Mhm. Well, thank you so much. I've been learning a lot, even though we talk all the time. It's been a great conversation. And, if listeners wanted to connect with you, where can they? And what's next for you in this movement towards significance?
You can connect with me on Instagram. You can see all of my work there. It's my Instagram handle, I believe it's called handle, is at perkup67. So PERKUP, the number 6 and 7. And you can see all my work there. You can reach out to me there. My website is perkup-you.com. So PERKUP-you.com. My email, perkup67@yahoo.com. I do a lot of organizational trainings, a lot of leadership coaching, and a lot of inspirational speaking. And I love doing that. I have 32 years of experience of training teams, working with teams, helping teams excel, moving from good to great, moving from a group to a team, moving from interested to committed. And I would love to partner with organizations. I do want to pause real quick and make sure people understand the book a little bit more. And you can I sell this. I sell it exclusively. There you go. It's a little fuzzy on my website because when I sell things on Amazon, like I did my first 5 books, which are still on Amazon,
Mhm.
they take 90% of my royalties,
Mm.
and I only get 10% for. I get 10% of profit for something I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into. So you can find this book, Suck, exclusively on my website. It is on Amazon as far as an ebook.
Oh.
And you just got to put in Dr. Anthony J. Perkins, Suck book, and it should pop up. But my website again is perkup-you.com, where I sell it exclusively. And for a short time, let me bring this to view here. Let me back up here. I'm going to have to do this. There we go. For a short time, I'm doing kind of a promotional sell on my book to get it out to the world. And you get 50% off the price at this point. And you just do that by simply when you go and scan this QR code, it brings you right to my website. And you put in the promotional code Buffalo Bills 67, and it will give you 50% off the book. So I encourage you to grab it now while this promotional code is in effect, and because it's not going to be there forever. The unique things about Suck are this: it's really different. I tried to really make sure I was out of the box. So a couple things: when you order the book Suck, you get a free book easel to display the book, and it shows people that you are working on your personal development and that you're growing and learning. Another thing, it has a sealed chapter. I sealed that chapter, and it gives you a warning page before that sealed chapter, and it explains that chapter, and you have the choice of breaking that seal and reading it or not. Another thing, I have 3 QR codes within the content of the book. So I space them, I think it's chapter 3, 6, and 10. It is chapters 3, 6, and 10, where you can scan a QR code and it takes you to my YouTube channel. And I do a little spill on what you just read and give you some positive words to move forward. So I take the reading journey along with you in the book. Then lastly, it has a notes section where you can write down profound notes to implement immediately. The key word is immediately. So a lot of different things in this book as compared to millions of other books. It's only 116 pages of content. It's actually 120, but the extra 4 pages are references and some other small things. But 116 pages of reading content. And I did that intentionally because I know people don't like to read books these days and they want to get in and out. And that was the goal with this book, to give you some real, true, profound micro moves to work on or to glean from and create your own and to keep moving forward.
And don't forget, you also put exercises and wisdoms of significance on the end. So I've really found a lot of use out of those too. Things I've
Yeah,
never to attempt.
what's that?
Things I've never even heard of before to attempt to really just keep yourself. I'm trying to think of the word.
Keep
Just
yourself keep
yeah,
yourself motivated, keep yourself going, things to try to help you move forward. So she's
yeah.
right, audience. At the very, very end, I do what's called, where's it at here? Where's it at? Come out, wherever you are. Oops,
113.
113. Okay. There it is. Exercises/wisdom of significance to gift others. And then I put, okay, you can use them too. And so these, I listed, let's see how many, I forgot how many, but create a video of your new goals. So you can grab your phone, create a video of it, 1 minute, 2 minute video of your goals. And then you have that video to keep motivating you as you get closer to your goal. Something that I preach and teach to teams is use the rule of 5. And the rule of 5 means set a goal and do 5 things every day to move closer to that goal. So, for example, say there's a tree in front of me and I have an axe every day, and my goal is to chop down that tree. Every day, I would take 5 swings at that tree every day until that tree falls. It's called the rule of 5. Other things I put in here: movie star. Recall that right now, your life, you're a movie star in your own life. And what are you going to do as a movie star moving forward in your life? Something else, don't forget to be where your feet are. That's a common saying out there in the universe. So being grounded, being humble, and not letting that ego pride impact you in a negative way moving forward. So don't forget to be where your feet are. Write a letter to yourself, your future self, and put in goals, put in a promise, put in something that inspires you to move toward. Be grateful is another exercise. Practicing being grateful in life. Writing down, getting a piece of paper, writing down a line down the middle of it vertically, and on the side put all your positives and all your negatives. And you'll see that you have more positives in life than negatives, and to be grateful for that. So the list goes on and on. Do the unbelievable, meaning on friend, on family, on coworker, on relationship, and or undo all negative things that are draining your life, your value, your mojo, your vibe. So the list goes on and on. It's in my final thoughts section of activities you can do to improve yourself and to help others.
That was great. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Talai, for the interview. I thought you did a great job kind of mixing it up in between. I really appreciate you. If you can stay put for a debrief conversation, that'd be appreciated. Everyone, I encourage you to, my book is right here, scan the QR code or go to my website, perkup-you.com, get it 50% off now, and just try one micromove within the book or create your own and just keep moving forward. You're doing a great job now, but you and I know, and this includes me in this speech, we can do a little bit better to be a significant person in other people's lives. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I will be back live soon. Everyone, be good, do good, God bless, and go Buffalo Bills.
Bye. Have a great week.